In this position in 1994, world champion Garry Kasparov is playing the other world champion Vladimir Kramnik, and in this game Kasparov shows why he's 300 IQ. Let's see what happens here. So in the game, Kasparov starts off with knight to e6, sacrificing the knight with the point to disconnect the queen's vision to the f6 pawn. So if you grab the knight, then there's queen takes f6 check, and you really don't want to allow that. So Kramnik first plays rook to g6, attacking the queen, and once the queen moves, then he wants to grab the knight. But Kasparov's idea was queen to f4, getting out of danger and now attacking the rook on b8 with check, so you don't have time to pick up the knight. And Kramnik gets his rook out of the way with rook to e8, but now Kasparov shows his other idea. Queen to f4 wasn't there just to attack the rook, it was to control the diagonal. So now he has rook to d6, attacking the queen and not letting him grab the knight. But after rook to d6, Kramnik finds the best response, knight to d5, now counterattacking Kasparov's queen on f4. And in this position, everything is hanging at the same time. Evaluating this is just insane. But there's one winning move in this position. When everything is hanging, Kasparov finds pawn to h5. Just a cold-blooded pawn move on the side of the board. And this is completely winning. First of all, you can't really move this rook on g6. If you go rook to g8, then Kasparov can sack the rook with rook takes d5, removing the defender and playing queen takes f6 check. So he's basically forcing Kramnik to just grab the queen on f4, and that's what he does. Knight takes f4. But after he grabs the queen, now both rooks are under attack. So how does this work for Kasparov? Well, the only winning move, h takes g6. Just grabbing the rook and leaving both rooks hanging, but we're threatening rook takes h7 check, and the queen on b6 is still under attack. So Kramnik grabs the rook on d6, but now rook takes h7, king steps over, and now we grab the pawn on f7, forking the king and the rook, and now he takes the rook. But now we grab the rook with a promotion, and at the end of the line the material is equal, but this king is left in the middle of the street, and Kasparov is completely winning. Kramnik eventually resigns the game.